Alright, what have we got here? A dish called GIAMBOTTA. Sounds South African, does it? I think it's supposed to be Italian, I just can't pronounce it. Oh, I'm going to get emails and letters about my pronunciation about that. Anyway, it means big mess, I'm told. See, I'm starting to sound like Tony Gregg, that's what it is. My South African accent, that was, just in case you don't know. What's wrong with my accents? They all sound like Peter Sellers, don't they? So, I'm not very good at accents. Right, anyway, the point about it is, it's sort of like, you know, like a ratatouille, an Italian version of a ratatouille. And it's just a really nice vegetable stew, and you can serve it exactly how it is, or you can serve it as I am, as sort of a main course or a light lunch or something like that, because what I'm going to do is serve it with a fried egg on top, which is delightful. Now, to start off with, 6 or 8 button mushrooms cut in 4, 2 or 3 cloves of garlic sliced, and 1 large onion sliced. And we're just going to start the sautéing process just in some olive oil and just stir it around a bit until it's reasonably tender. Look, you know, you're adding other veggies and things, so it's going to keep cooking. And so you just start it like this and get the cooking process started. Seal in the juices. I've also done this where I've added prosciutto and various other bits and pieces to it, so don't feel that it's set in concrete. You can do pretty much what you like with this. To that now, what I add, I've got a couple of Japanese eggplant. Now I've left them reasonably large. You can cut them in half. You know, from there what I'm saying is you can then cut them in half again if you want to. I've got some zucchini, which I actually have done that too. And I've got a big red capsicum and a big green one, which I've cut in cubes. So they go in as well. Might as well bring the board over, it's a lot easier. See, it's really wonderful when you do that with the board, and you bring it over and it's so much easier, and you end up with most of it on the stovetop. So, my idea of doing it really easily is not that clever, is it? Alright, so we're just going to toss that around. We're then going to season it pretty well. And I'm going to add a small amount of stock, and I'm going to add a little bit of pureed chilli. The chilli is definitely optional, 100% optional. Put it in if you want. You can put fresh chilli if you want. You can leave it out if you want. And then I'm just going to mix that up. Mix it in well. Then I'm going to turn the heat down, and we're going to cook that until those veggies are really tender. We're not trying to do an Asian dish here. Those veggies should be really rather well cooked, so keep that in mind. And you don't want it sloppy, so you want to cook that liquid away as well. Alright, I reckon that'll take 15 or 20 minutes. After about 10 minutes, we're going to put some fresh tomatoes in there. And we'll just take the core out. And then we'll cut it into wedges. Alright. Let's have another shot with the board and see if I can get into the pot this time. Hey! I'm on a roll. Every one of them. Right, let's just mix that up. See, that's dried up a bit. I'll put a little bit more stock in, but not too much, because you'll get some juice out of the tomatoes. Not huge amounts, but you will get some. Alright, we will cook that for another 5-10 minutes. Then we'll be in business. Then we'll start thinking about frying eggs. Alright, this is looking rather good. Those tomatoes have collapsed a bit. Now just some fresh basil to finish it off, decent amount. And that's looking terrific. Now, the fried egg, a little bit of olive oil. It's an Italian dish, we have to use olive oil to fry our egg. Alright, let's just Put that in. I like it to frizzle a little bit around the edges if possible, and I'll be back in a second because I'm just going to go and get the plate that I'm going to serve the lot on. So I'll leave it fairly hot for a few seconds and see what happens. Alright, we've got a little bit of frizzling happening, so what I always do then is I just put a lid on it and turn the blessed thing off, and we just let that finish on its own. It's doing the singing for me. I don't need to do any singing, it's doing it perfectly. Right. I've gone quite strange, haven't I? Yes, I think I have. Alright, let's just do a nice mound of this vegetable stew. We'll just put that off to the side. I haven't turned that off, so I better turn it off. And we'll have a look at our egg. You can see that's looking good. That is looking good, guys. Do drain it well. See, it's, as I said, I like it a little frizzled around the edges, but you know, you don't want it sort of black around the edges, but just a little frizzled really is a lovely way to have it. A little bit more basil over the top of that. I always put a little bit of ground pepper on top as well. And there we're in business. So we've got this lovely light vegetable dish, sort of, as I said, like a ratatouille, but a little bit different, with a nice fried egg on top. Of course, you do a poached egg instead if you want to. Alright, that is good light food.